Sure, sir.
Yeah.
O hidden life, vibrant in every atom. O hidden light, shining in every creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other. Thank you.
Thank you, Swati. So, for those who are new here, as you can see, our theosophical prayer is really an introduction to the very essence behind these satsangs, the spiral of wisdom, as we call it, that happens every Thursday from 6:30 to 8, started by Ma Manize many years ago. And the intention is that we come here together to really experience the truth that we are spiritual beings, we are a soul having a human experience, not the other way around. So today we have a lovely speaker. Yes, Arunji, I can see your screen, so I believe you have the host permission now. Dr. Arun Bharadwaj. And before I introduce Dr. Arun Bharadwaj ji, for those who don't know, I just want to say that my name is Ramesh RK. I'll be your host for today for this particular satsang, which is titled Engineering Happiness, a journey from good to great. So Arun Bharadwaj ji is an internationally renowned keynote speaker and an expert in corporate happiness, emotional well-being, innovation, and peak performance. With over 30 years of global experience at companies like Motorola, Samsung, Lucent, and Dell, he has inspired cultures of happiness and peak performance in over 350 organizations and impacted more than 2 lakh lives through his engineering happiness programs. Dr. Bharadwaj's work includes conducting transformation programs for Fortune 500 companies and prestigious academic institutions across Europe, Africa, and Asia. His laughter meditation program, Experience Flow, a journey through thoughtlessness, is acclaimed worldwide. He has also led mindfulness workshops for national sports teams, Pro Kabaddi, and the Indian Army. It's quite the repertoire. The author of the book of Reflections, Dr. Bharadwaj combines ancient wisdom with modern research to foster peace, prosperity, and joy. His accolades include the Friend of Africa Award for Social Impact, the 51 Most Fabulous Global Happiness Leaders Award, and the 50 Top Happiness Leaders Award. He holds a BTech, he's a gold medalist from the NIT Hamirpur, an MBA from the California State University, and a PhD focused on happiness and peak performance. He founded Happiness Technology to help individuals realize their full potential and lead meaningful, happy lives. It looks like whatever we were discussing just before the start of today's satsang is being addressed through this program, Engineering Happiness. And I'm sure we'd all really look forward to it because that is really what all of us are after, how to be happy, how to maybe rediscover that in essence we are that happiness. So over to you, Dr. Arun Bharadwaj.
Thank you, Rameshji, and namaskar to everyone. It's such a pleasure to be connecting with all of you and getting this opportunity to share my thoughts in this satsang. And I wanted to start with this very profound memory. Those of you who are connected with School of Ancient Wisdom would remember this view. My journey in School of Ancient Wisdom started in 2011 when I met Mahamanise. And I have very deep connect with her because when I first time met her, it was amazing experience. Everything that she, whether it was her that physical appearance or the way of talking, interaction, the way she was treating me, everything was so compassionate. So she was actually a uh, living manifestation of compassion. And during that time, I had asked her this question: how did you name this place School of Ancient Wisdom? And I'll tell you why this has such a profound connect with me. And she said, see, we usually sometimes start connecting wisdom with certain books or certain sources. But what wisdom does is wisdom is for living, making life better, this world better, alleviating human suffering. So it can come from any source. And if it is coming from ancient source, it becomes ancient wisdom. And I really love that definition of this whole idea of ancient wisdom. And ancient wisdom became part of my PhD's title as well. So that's why I'm saying that I have a very profound connect with this place. And this person with the torch always reminds me of that day when this discussion had happened. So my PhD's title actually is Joyful Living, Learning from the Management Principles of Ancient Wisdom. So that's about Ma Manize, because of whom a beautiful place is created in Bangalore. And if you have not visited, it's worth going there.
Please low,
So no need to panic. When these days our phone or laptop, I would request everyone to mute the microphone.
Charger.
Sajani? Yes.
So when we see this low battery, we run towards the power socket as if our life depended on phone or laptop. I think that's what started happening in the background. But and this is how our life is now, very connected, very device centric. This is how our household is looking like right now. We sit together, but we are in our different walls. We have become slave to the device that was supposed to be our slave. I don't think cell phone is bad. We always keep saying what is bad is that instead of being masters of this device, we have become slave to it. Now the content is being fed to us and we just consume it. When it comes to the cyber world, we know exactly which operating system we need. If a new version of Android comes or iOS comes, we want to get it on our phone or laptop because we want to get the best performance out of our phone or laptop. But when it comes to our own inner operating system, challenges that we have not even learned about it. We don't even know how our inner operating system works. And we don't spend time in taking care of that inner operating system. And that's what our sages and ancient wisdom was focused on. This is that operating system which is creating expression of joy or sorrow for us. Same event, India, South Africa final match, it was just a cricket match. But the same event, that catch by Surya Kumar Yadav on the last over, created such a joy for Indians and such a grief for many countries in the world. Same event, but how it was interpreted, in which context it was interpreted, created expression of joy and sorrow. And this is that inner operating system that I found very fascinating. One more interesting thing, when I was doing my research and later, when I'm reading our ancient text, doesn't matter which culture, which philosophy it comes from, it is so amazing to see that our sages have gotten into such a minute detail of human psyche without any fMRI or any sonogram or any EEG, EKG, any kind of equipment, which is phenomenal, which makes me believe that people with that sight of intuition, that capability to intuitively know, have found things that we are still discovering. And I thought, why not? Why not go back to the ancient roots and find out how we can create a life of joy and how can we understand this inner operating system better so we can live our life in pleasure and make this world a bit happier world. And before I move on, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. And I would request you to type it in the chat because we will have many to one interaction. But if you can type it in the chat or just think in your mind, are you happy today? Are you happy today? And whatever that answer is, yes or no, my follow-up question to you would be, okay, great. Thank you very much for using chat. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Arun. Thanks, Mr. Ramani and Malati. Now, the second question might be a little tougher. Why? If you're happy, why are you happy? And if you're not happy, why are you not happy? And this is the question that we have often not thought about and pondered upon. Next question would be, would you like to be happier tomorrow? And that leads to this thought, because everybody would like to be happier tomorrow, right? And that is because we are separated by nations, regions, religion, culture, and languages. But one thing is common among all human beings. All human beings have one thing common. And can you guess what is that one thing? If it was a face-to-face workshop, I would have gone into little detail. But I would like you to keep answering this question in your mind. What do you think that one thing is common among all of us? And that one thing is, doesn't matter where we start. For example, why have you joined this webinar today? So one of the answers can be, I was just curious, or I felt obligated because message came to me. And then I would say, why? Oh, because otherwise, some of my friends will get angry. They will not feel good. So what? And you will say, oh, if they feel bad, I'll feel bad. So, oh, so I came here because I just wanted to live a happy life. I wanted to be happy. Or you could say, I joined this webinar because I wanted to learn something new. Why? Because I would like to grow. I would like to be aware. Why? What do you mean by why? It gives me sense of satisfaction, joy. So it doesn't matter where we start. If I ask those 4 or 5 whys, in the end, all human pursuits seem to be pursuit of happiness. And that's rightly so, because when we are happy, we are at our best, isn't it? So all are human pursuits. Now, I'm not talking about that 1% of the pyramid people who are saying, I don't need anything for happiness. I can close my eyes and become happy. But for most of other mortal beings who are in that middle bracket, they are neither, they can close their eyes and go into Samadhi Avastha and feel Satchitananda or eternal joy. And they are also above that fight where we are not even thinking about happiness, where we are still struggling to make a living. But in between, which is, I think, larger population, and probably most of us fall into that intermediate level, it is all about pursuit of happiness. All our pursuits are ultimately pursuit of happiness. And I felt when I was in corporate, all our motivational methods were very limited in their time duration. Somebody got promoted after some years or months even, is not happy anymore. She wants a higher post. Somebody gets a raise. Somebody says, how much you got? 5%, I got 6%, unhappiness. So all our pursuits lead to happiness, but even happiness becomes cause of self. Now, I thought maybe there are people here from corporate background, and they would like to know if happiness is just about a spiritual topic or it is beyond that. Now, fortunately, a lot of research has happened in many universities worldwide that show that happiness advantage not only is about joyful living, it is about creating more productive, more engaged, and more innovative organizations. And the impact of happiness is clinically tested now that people have higher productivity, it improves relationship, better health, slow aging, and meaningful life. So if you're living happy, you're getting all these advantages. So the question is, what is happiness? I know, smile, feeling good, that feeling of elation, that is happiness. But I thought, since we are having a conversation, let me take you through not the detailed research definitions of happiness, but happiness definition from a person who is considered the happiest person on earth, Matthew Ricard. Because when his brain activity is measured, his brain activity is abnormally positive. So he's considered the happiest man on earth. And he says happiness is a deep sense of flourishing. What does it mean? I also kind of believe this definition quite a bit. Not kind of, I believe it. Because in many cultures, we say absence of sorrow is happiness. No, I believe it is not about coming to the zero. Happiness or purpose of living is going from that zero level, neutral level, to that flourishing level. That means positive level. Happiness is a deep sense of flourishing, not a mere pleasurable feeling or fleeting emotion, but an optimal state of being that arises from cultivating inner peace and mental well-being. So it's not a fleeting feeling. It's not short duration feeling that would be pleasure, but a long-term flourishing feeling of elation that is cultivated because of inner peace and mental well-being. And let me translate that into modern research now. One of the pioneers in the science of happiness, or what is called positive psychology, Martin Seligman, he believes that we live three lives. Life of pleasure, when we are only thinking about positive emotion and sensory satisfactions. Then we move to life of engagement, when we have goals and we would like to meet our goals. And finally, when we do all that, we also reach a stage in our life when we start looking for more purposeful, more meaningful life. And that's the final stage of life, which is life of significance. So you will see that pleasant life is where we are enjoying sensory pleasure. But a profile of a person who is engaged is not necessarily somebody laughing. A scientist who can be in the lab for hours and hours, a stockbroker who can be on stock floor, exchange floor for hours in a very pressure cooker kind of environment, can still be very engaged and enjoying his or her job. So happiness and laughter and smile, they have this interesting connect. But this life of engagement, a person can be living a meditative life without actually feeling those positive exuberant emotions. And whenever there's an overall life satisfaction, when we feel that we have lived life of pleasure, pleasant life, good life, and meaningful life, it directly impacts our health and productivity positively. So the question that my title also asks, can happiness be engineered? First of all, what is the relation between happiness and success? I'm also trying to look at the comments. Great, great. More happiness. Okay, great. Yes, we will discuss about more happiness as well. So the question is, what is the relation between success and happiness? So two of my favorite one-liners, punchlines. First one you heard. See, why happiness? Because when we are happy, we are at our best, isn't it? When we are happy, we are at our best. So that's why we should be happy. We should put ourselves physiologically in the positive environment, because physiology also defines our psychology. So if we just stretch our shoulders and we feel positive, and suddenly it triggers our psychology to be positive as well. The second part is, when we are happy, we are at our best. When we are at our best, we are happy. So when a human is allowed to express his or her creativity. Is there a question?
Can everyone mute their microphone, please? Thank you.
So if you're happy, if you're doing something which you love to do, if a human is allowed to express his or her creativity, it also creates sense of happiness. So there's a bidirectional relationship between happiness and success. And the second part is, and this is my favorite. This is what nudged me to pursue happiness even further. Happiness leads to success a lot more than success leads to happiness, isn't it? Happiness leads to success a lot more than success leads to happiness. So can happiness be engineered? My research says yes. And many times people say, oh, happiness is within us. It is an inner phenomena. Satchitananda, it is always there. You know what? It was always there, but I did not know how to access it. Yeah, water is there in the earth, but you need to have borewell to access it out, right? So how do you access that happiness? And how do you even reach that level when you start experiencing happiness within? I think we have to go through a journey. And what I'm going to share in next couple of slides is that bridge program, taking you from I'm not happy to, oh, you know what? I don't need anything to be happy. I can just close my eyes and be happy. So this is the bridge program in between, for probably relevant to most of us in this conversation right now. So I found out in my research, first of all, why this research? I'm an engineer, did my MBA, then why this research on happiness? Because when I was a young, in 20s and 30s, I used to feel people are telling me how to be happy without asking me what makes me happy. So I'm being given a prescription without diagnosis. So I went on a pursuit to find out what professionals and people in the modern times perceive happiness to be. What are the factors? What are the dimensions that people associate with happiness? And I found out there are these 8 dimensions. I've just added the 9th one because of my personal experiences, and I would love to share that with you. Now, question is, can we engineer happiness? Yes, in a way. What do I mean by that? Happiness is a feeling. So if you don't want to feel happy, nobody can make you happy. It's a choice you make. But what I can certainly do, I can help you create an environment in your life where the chances, the probability of you experiencing that feeling of elation, flourishing, that probability would be higher. I will share these dimensions with you. Then we will have a couple of more minutes on what do I mean by engineering happiness when happiness is an inner feeling. I'm a marketing and branding guy, so I was able to fit the whole idea into a mnemonic, which also is happiness. And in that, H stands for healthy body and mind. I will tell you the sequence because sequence is a little different later, but H stands for healthy body and mind. If we don't have healthy body and healthy mind, the chances, the probability that we are going to experience feeling of flourishing, long-term joy, that chance is less. So first thing what we need to do is make sure that we are living healthy, keeping our body healthy, and we are not only keeping our body physically healthy, but we are also keeping our mind healthy. And this is the challenge, probably in most of the societies, but a lot in India. We actually, when a dentist told me, I was in my 20s, this is in 90s, and doctor told me, you have to floss your teeth every day. And I did not know what it means. And now we have started to floss. I hope everyone is doing that, floss our teeth. So dental flossing, we have learned, but mental flossing, we are still not doing. So as the bacteria are getting deposited in our teeth and we are doing dental flossing, similarly, those negative thoughts by others generated by us are also getting accumulated on our brain, our thought processes, our emotions, our thinking, our feeling. They need to be cleansed as well. So as we are always taking care of our body, the physical hygiene, we need to introduce something for our mental hygiene also. And I hope satsangs like this, they are creating that environment in which people are finding their mental body also taken care of, or we are giving a bath to our mental body also, mind also. After H, once we have healthy mind and body, the second important thing which is required to experience the feeling of happiness is amicable relationships. Human beings, we thrive when we are with people. So if you know the art of creating amicable relationships, the probability that your days are going to be more joyful, that probability is going to be higher. And for that, we need to have communication skills, compassion, love, selflessness in our nature, which will create amicable relationships. Then third, P is purposeful life. And I want to take a pause here. Although healthy mind and body came before because it starts with H, but let's think about it. I think the most important thing for a human being is having a purpose, a reason to wake up in the morning. Because if we don't have purpose, you won't even feel like waking up and doing exercise. Do I really want to care about my healthy mind and body if I don't have purpose in life? So I think purpose we say health is wealth, but I think purpose leads healthy body and mind. How do we create purpose? See, in our society, many times we say, now I'm retired. And I found a new definition. I was 43 when I retired from corporate life. And I found a new definition because my parents were saying, you are saying retired. How can you be retired? I say retired. It's not retirement in that sense. Now I'm doing what I want to do, not what I have to do. And that want to do is that purpose which I'm living now, which is basically, interacting, public speaking, making a difference in other lives and helping people become best version of themselves. So I'm that nudge mentor that has become purpose in life, who is nudging people to become best version of themselves. The second piece, personal growth. As long as we are growing, as long as we are learning, we are growing. Once we stop learning and being curious, we age. Choice is ours. But when we grow, when we feel I've done something new, I've learned something new, we feel young, we feel happy. The probability that we'll feel better, positive, that probability is higher. Interrole harmony. I'm a father, I'm a motivational speaker, I'm a leader, I'm a coach, I'm many things, but there has to be this harmony in all these roles. because I get beaten up many times when I come home and I start giving, the same motivational thoughts to my family, and they say, I need a husband right now. I need a father right now, not a motivational speaker. So we have to have this inter-role harmony also established to live a happy life. Then comes needful prosperity. What do I mean? See, until we have our basic needs taken care of, we won't even think about rest of the dimensions of happiness. So our challenge is how much is enough that we are not able to figure out. Between need and greed, there's a thin line. And unfortunately, most of us keep crossing that line most of the time. So from needful prosperity, we always keep going to greedful prosperity. And needful prosperity, we all need, because that's why I'm able to talk to you about all these next evolutionary dimensions of life. But creating that boundary for yourself, that is very important. I was fortunate that I was able to decide when it is enough for me, and I was able to come out of the corporate rat race. E stands for effective T management, and T stands for time, energy, and attention management. And these three are our fixed resources. If we are not able to manage our time, energy, and attention, we will not be able to take care of rest of the dimensions anyway. So time management also is very important. Energy management, attention management, very important to live a happy life. And stress management, if any of these previous 6, they go out of balance, 7, they create stress. And as others are promoter of happiness, stress is the inhibitor to happiness. So we have to figure out ways to manage stress. I'll share some of the methods or thoughts. And finally, I believe spiritual intelligence. As I mentioned, this was not part of the original research outcome. This is part of my experiences later. Having this belief that there is this universal law, universal consciousness, universal intelligence, it is very, very important. And I don't think this can be learned. It has to be experienced. I, as a mentor, or you as a mentor, can share with people some of these universal laws, but until people put their faith in these laws and put them into practice, they will never understand what spiritual intelligence is, how intuition can help you so many times, how you can just create connects what in the mind and they manifest right in front of you within a day. So I thought spiritual intelligence is very, very important, because when science cannot explain something, where science stops, the spirituality begins. And I have experienced that zone many times now. So these are the 9 dimensions of engineering happiness that I believe if we nurture in our life, we have higher probability of experiencing happiness. And in the, you can find whichever you pick, you can first see where do you believe the largest gap between an ideal state of this dimension and what you are right now facing exists. Is your body and mind healthy to the extent you want it to be? Your relationships amicable enough that you want to be? Do you have a strong purpose of life which is making you energetically wake up in the morning? Have you been learning these days? Have you become better today than you were yesterday? Are you able to manage all the roles that you are right now taking, whichever age and stage you are in life? Needful prosperity. Are you maintaining that line crossover from need to greed, or are you in the greed territory? Time management, energy management, attention management. Are you figuring it out, or are you always struggling to find more time to do more things that you always wanted to do? Stress management. Are you taking care of your mind? Are you keeping your mind in cool state where you can respond to things rather than react to things? And finally, have you been utilizing universal wisdom and universal laws that can make your life way bearable, where you stop even worrying about pain and sorrows, you become above it? Have you been inculcating spiritual intelligence? So that being said, if there is any question, or you want me to pause, or you want to ask some question, please let me know. And Sadhji, let's see.
The talk has been very good, sir. Can I just ask one question?
Yes, sir.
So these are all okay for normal circumstances. But the issue becomes an abnormal, like for example, what is happening in some states in India or what is happening in Middle East, or which is beyond one's control. So how do you really engineer happiness, or what one should one do? Ukraine, for example, no fault of them, they are in problem.
Yes, yes. See, now various ways of explaining it or addressing this. I will share two of my views. Then if you have any view, you're very welcome to share as well, or anybody else on the call has a view. I believe, I've strongly started to believe on being member of CIA. I'm part of CIA. What do I mean by that? See, in the world, we will always have things in our sphere of awareness. Now we are on internet, we have Facebook, we have LinkedIn, and we keep getting these feeds all the time, and we are being aware of everything that is happening in the world. So that is our sphere of awareness. Within that sphere of awareness, there is sphere of influence. That sphere of awareness, I cannot do anything. Yesterday, I saw a terrible video where a whole family got wiped out because they were standing in the middle of a waterfall in Pune. You might have also seen that video. I felt very pained, actually. I was feeling pain because people were just taking videos and everybody was making noise, but nobody was able to offer them help, or probably they did and they were not able to reach. Now, I feel very bad. So what do I do now? Should I get into a cycle of grief and depression? Ukraine, so many people got killed. Now, this is sphere of awareness. Now, what is my sphere of influence? Where can I influence things? I can influence because I'm a person who loves to do videos, loves to write blogs. I can write about, please do not go near water during these times because water flow can increase suddenly. That's definitely in my influence. I can do that. So just saying worry, worry, worry would not help me. I have to come down to what can I influence in this situation? At least I would have done my part. And I would like to share this story. You might have all heard. There's a grandfather and a grandson. They're walking on a beach, and beach had a low tide, and a lot of starfish have come to the beach and they are dying because of sun. And this grandfather, with his back still aching, is still bending down, picking one starfish and throwing it into ocean and saying, "Ah, I saved one." And then again, bends, picks one, throws one. So grandson is looking at grandfather and say, "This guy is like out of his mind or something. He's having pain." He says, "Grandfather, there are 10,000 fish here. What difference it makes if you're saving one or two?" Grandfather smiles, picks one more starfish, throws it back on water, throws it back on water and says, "It makes difference of a life, at least in the life of this one starfish," and throws back. So moral of the story, let's do what is within our influence. No point worrying about things that we cannot influence. Now, the innermost circle is circle of control. What can I do? At least I can be, what I can do, what is within my control. I do not become a person like that. So I can take inspiration from Ukraine. I can take inspiration from wherever. And I say, at least I don't want to be a person like that. Our challenge has been, sir, although we all keep worrying about the sphere of awareness, we hardly do anything what we can influence. Unfortunately, we don't even do what is within our control, that is to change ourselves. I think the most difficult task for all of us is changing ourselves. And that's the only thing we have control on. So when we do not have even influence on thing that we can control, which is ourselves, we try to change everything around us. So that's why I said, I love to include all of you in the CIA club. In the circle of awareness, it is just stress. Take out what you think you can influence and especially work on things that you control, which is in your hand. I hope that gives a path a little bit better than before.
Very useful, sir. Thank you very much. Very, very helpful.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate that you are taking it so positively and also acknowledging and letting me know that it was useful. Thank you very much for that. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? This was good question. Thank you. Any other question? And Rameshji, if you see any question coming in, please let me know, because it is even more fun to make it interactive and if somebody has question.
Certainly. Yes, I can see one question coming up now.
Okay.
From within me. So if anybody else has any questions, please do speak up. My question here is, I'm maybe playing the devil's advocate. I, of course, enjoy happiness probably as much as anybody else, and would love to be happy for as long as possible. Sometimes it's also probably good to take a break from being happy because I remember as a child, this is a very strange thing to say, but I remember as a child, for the first 7 years of my life, it was literally like the Krishna Katha. You know, I living with my grandparents. I was the teacher's favorite, teacher's pet. I would always do well in whatever attempted, come first in class, and so on. And everybody around me was fond of me. Even my classmates. I wasn't the teacher's pet, which classmates didn't like. They also liked me. Now, I remember at times, and the feeling of happiness was so normal that um, only later in life, when I was in a situation that I wasn't happy, did I begin to appreciate its value. Now, also I observed along with happiness comes other things. You know, sometimes your ego gets stronger and you may not be so compassionate and so on. I do know now that happiness is something that one enjoys. You know, it's an outcome of one's good karmas, whether it's this life or the past life. So equipoise probably is also something that one maybe may need to learn to kind of regulate it, because whether it's too positive or too negative, the idea of equipoise I find is very powerful. What would you say to that, Dr. Arun?
Sure, sure. Thank you for that question. Lovely question and a deep question. See, my roots or initial education was engineering, and then that's what I did for 25 years. So I have started to see things very logically first, because in engineering there is only one answer, as you know. And then later part it became a little bit more fuzzy, and I started exploring many other things. Now you are saying why we are not looking, why equipoise should not be our destination. Why happiness? Because happiness also has a challenge, because when you are happy, whatever makes you happy also has a reverse, complementary side. So if meeting people makes me happy, if I don't meet people, that will make me unhappy, right? So absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. So my response to it is, there are three stages in life. I've also gone through those three stages that I shared before. I'll go one step down now, one level down. First is life of pleasure, when we are just enjoying sensory pleasures, right? Nothing else matters. Then we say, oh, enough of that. I was in the US, I had a lot of money, friends, every weekend party, every sin that you can think of, we were enjoying that. But after 4 or 5 years, you get sick of it. You say, what am I doing to my life? And then life has that intelligence in it. It kind of pushes you, nudges you, if you're listening to it, to the next level when you say, okay, I want to have some goals. I want to achieve those goals. And then the second phase of my life started. I call it life of success. That second phase can only start when first phase is enjoyed. And there's this consciousness that I want to move on to the second phase. After living that life of success for many years, I came back to India in 2008 from US, and I was working with MNC, and I felt I was getting paid more than that I deserve. And the person who was doing who was a carpenter working in my home on interior, I felt he was more innovative, he was more hardworking, he was spending more time, he was more faithful to whatever he was doing. And still I was getting paid more than what he was getting paid for 1 hour. Probably I was getting paid for 1 hour or less than 1 hour what he was getting paid for a whole day. And then this question started bothering me, what is the purpose of my life? And my third stage in life started, which was pursuit of significance or pursuit of happiness, right? So we are here now. This is where your question stays. Pursuit of happiness, is it good or not? Until that pursuit is experienced by a human being, the fourth pursuit, which I'm kind of now migrating to, that does not start. And I think that pursuit is not, I think I'm experiencing that pursuit. I call it happiness in pursuit, right? Not pursuit of happiness, but happiness in pursuit. Uh, I'll tell you a very strange thing today. I bit my lip inside, I bit my cheek, and it was causing me pain. And I thought all these fundas I'm giving people, that it is all here, you can transform, you can use the words differently, you can feel pain differently, you can be staying away from you can disconnect yourself from the situation. Let me see, can I enjoy this pain? Very strange thought. I laughed at it. I said, let me start believing, let me start seeing, can I just, it is there, it is not going to go away. I'm just avoiding. For example, I'm talking to you right now. I was not able to talk like this. Let me see what it does to me. And I was very surprised. After a while, this pain is not bothering me anymore, right? So you start, I don't know whether to call it happiness or you can call it equipoise, but you start living life above equipoise, where it is positive, it is human flourishing. I'm multiplying what I'm doing, right? I have not uh, put a lot of effort on experiencing that equipoise and seeing what my state is going to be. I feel what I'm when I'm in this positive mode, I'm more productive. And somehow I think we can train our brain not to take this happiness and allow it to become cause of sorrow. I'll tell you one example. Suppose Rameshji, I invited you. We are good friends now, so I'll call you because I'm cooking something. I'm cooking some nice pulao, and this thought came to me that I want to invite my friend. I want to cook and serve it to him or share the meal with him. This thought itself gives me joy. Then I call you. That calling and hearing your voice makes me even more happy. Hey, I did not speak to you for so long. Today, I thought you love pulao. I'm making pulao, so I wanted to invite you, right? And then you said, sorry, traffic is more, rain is happening and all that. I'll not be able to come. Now, question is, should I feel unhappy now? Yes, usually that's what used to happen to me, and I'm pretty sure to all of us. We say, I invited, look at this, who invites people these days? And now he's saying no. Somehow, probably it, these are learned things from mentors. I started telling myself, I called you and I felt happy. You, by saying no to me, you cannot reduce my level of happiness. By saying yes, coming here and having good time together, you can always increase that level of happiness for me. What I mean by that, I think we have a capability of defining our baseline happiness. Does that mean that I'm never unhappy? No, but I'm happier than before. What does it mean? If something bad happens to me, because I have inculcated this happiness mindset, which I was going to talk about, 5 happier mindset, it helps me like shockers help a vehicle on a bad road. These mindsets help me come out of that situation in much shorter time than they used to be before. I want to share this tip with all of you because I think most of the time we talk about these big things and then there is no takeaway which you can immediately implement in your life. Especially when I'm telling you become happy, you will say it takes life. How can you just by somebody saying live a happy life or nurture a happy mindset can become happy? I want to give you a solution for that, and I'll probably skip some of the slides and go back. I want to share something with you. Okay. Just a minute, please. Because I think that's the essence of everything that we do. And if we learn that, then we are good. Just give me a second, please.
Sure.
Please let me know if you are able to see anything on my screen or not.
Not yet.
Okay, just a minute.
No, we can't see.
Just a minute. I'll share again. Are you able to see now? Just a minute. Now.
Yes. I
Okay,
can see a
great.
video.
Yes. So I hope this slide, this one thought or this idea will kind of create a transformation in all of us. And I call this idea getting micro enlightened, right? Now, we have heard a lot about enlightenment. Many of us have given up because we are told that it takes many births, many janmas to become enlightened. But let me give you a hope, a better idea, micro enlightenment. What I mean by this, whatever you have heard, for example, we talked about 7 things or nine dimensions of happiness. I talked about how you can set up baseline happiness. I talked about mental flossing or whichever idea. Let's say the most popular, most popular negative attribute that we always want to reduce or get rid of is anger, the strongest emotion. Let me take anger as an example. Suppose you want to be micro enlightened on anger. We would like to not be angry unless it is a life-threatening situation where not being angry means the person is going to beat me to pulp. But in normal circumstances with general people or family or friends or social interaction, we don't have to be angry. Now, you understand what anger does to us. It puts you in a negative state of mind. Your brain stops working. Rational brain stops working. You become very instinctive. You're in fight and flight behavior. Your digestion goes down. Your immunity gets hurt. And everything within your body and mind is in total negative state when you are angry. In fact, that's why there's a very popular saying that getting angry is like drinking poison and hoping the other person would die. We all want to be not angry. We all want to be responding, not reacting. But that does not happen. Whenever somebody triggers us, we get angry. So what did I do? I said, let me take anger as an experimental dimension of life. Do I get angry? Yes, I still do get angry. But the difference is this. Those of you who are engineers would love this, or those of you who remember your physics, rest, don't worry, I'm going to simplify it. Any behavior, let's focus on 4 traits of that behavior. The duration, the intensity, frequency, and cause. What do I mean by that? Do I get angry? Yes, but not as many times as I used to get angry before. Because some of those reasons for anger I have overcome. When I get angry, I used to be not talking to people for days and weeks and months. Now, even if I get angry, I don't stay angry for more than a few minutes. So I have reduced the frequency, how many times I get angry. Second, I've reduced the duration. How long do I stay angry when I get angry? Third one, intensity. If I get angry, I don't get as intensely angry as I used to be. Sometimes I can just get angry and say, whoever, Ramesh ji, I'm just speaking on you. So Ramesh ji, आपने जो भी कहा है, उससे मेरे दिल को बहुत ठेस पहुंची है. आप ऐसा मत कीजिए, मुझे इससे गुस्सा आ रहा है. So I have expressed my anger. Please, whatever you have told me, it is hurting me, it is making me angry. Please don't say this to me. See, I have expressed my anger, but I did not increase the intensity of anger within me. And the fourth one is very important. I hope I'll reach that stage, and all of us will reach that stage, where the cause of anger is understood. And most of the time, we are not getting angry because somebody else is making us angry. It is because it is somehow touching our insecurities and it is bothering our inner self or ego that we get angry. So once we start understanding the cause of anger is within me, hopefully that emotion of anger for no reason, when it is not a life-threatening situation, that emotion of anger will not even rise. So I hope this gives a very interesting and practical, doable paradigm or framework to reduce intensity of a negative or detrimental emotion. On the other side, the same model can be used to enhance intensity or frequency or duration of a positive emotion. For example, gratitude. So these are some of the things we can do. And one of our friends asked, can we do something to become happy? I mean, can I share some thoughts for being happy? Happiness is a trainable skill. This is the last thought I'll share, and then we'll see if there's a question. Happiness is a trainable skill, I believe. And if you feel that you need to be calm, poised, perfect, what I'm saying is, it is not necessary that you be happy all the time. That's your wish, and that is because of whichever context you are in, you can choose to have whichever emotion you want to have, good, whatever makes you uh, give you that inner peace. But what I'm saying is, if you wish at any time, you can be happy. You don't have to be happy all the time. That's your wish. But if you wish to choose, you can be happy anytime. And I'm going to give you an example. Joy is the building block of happiness. So with the slices of joy in the day, you can actually turn your day to be a happier day. So when you are sleeping in the night and thinking about how my day was today, just imagine if you had many joyful moments a day, 10, 15. Would you say it was a joyful day? Would you wake up tomorrow morning with that memory of that I had an amazing day yesterday or not? Versus if you had a terrible day, no experiences of joy, that night when you will sleep, what would be your dominant thought? And when you wake up in the morning, next morning, what would be your dominant thought? How will you be preparing for the day? So I say that happiness is a trainable skill and we can collect slices of joy. And we are all capable. We have capability to create joyful moments on demand. And finding slices of joy in everyday life, I call it joy on demand. And let me share one example. I would like all of you to just take a deep breath and exhale. By the way, I learned this new research and it is phenomenal that, we are habitual. Whenever we are stressed, whenever we want to relax, whenever we want to get the stress out of our system, this is what we do. And I had a sigh of relief. And I learned that this is one of the most effective breathing techniques that you can utilize just for 2 minutes. And I guarantee, because within first few times I tried it, I felt good. What you do is this: 2 breaths in the break the breath into 2 halves. And then as you sigh, and do that for 2 minutes. And please send me a note later. I'll share my email address. Let me know if it worked for you, because it worked wonderful for me. So very easy to do. But let me request you once again, do that 2 times. And as you are sighing, just let your body relax. Your body, your head, and everything, just let it relax. Once again. Let your jaw be even loose and put a smile on your face. Let me see all of you as well. And if you can turn on your cameras, would be lovely. So what I want you to do is that third time when you do it, please close your eyes. So breathe in and close your eyes. Now, I would like you to remember any positive memory that happened last 1 month or 1 year, something that made you feel good, your own accomplishment, something that your family experienced, or something that you saw, whichever memory comes to your mind first. Imagine that. It should be positive in nature. I would like you to just believe you are rewinding, like you rewind on YouTube or your Instagram, rewinding that memory, relive that memory once again. What happened? Even if it was a cup of coffee, see that waiter bringing that cup of coffee, smell that aroma, involve all your 5 senses as your 6th sense, which is your mind getting involved already. So see the colors, hear the music, noise, sound, conversations, see the cheerfulness around, what kind of smell, if it was food, what kind of taste you're feeling right now, who are people who are around you. Give everybody a high five or hug. Create a very festive environment in that memory. And whatever you are doing, whatever was that event that happened, just say, wow, it is fantastic. Even if it was taking a bite of chocolate or taking a sip of coffee, say, wow, how fantastic it is. It's amazing. One of the best coffee I have tasted in last many months. Enjoy it. amplify that joy, amplify it. Take a deep breath once again and inhale that aroma of that positive moment. Please put a smile on your face. Let your face be very gentle and no stress. As you're exhaling, wherever you're feeling your muscles are strained, let those muscles be relaxed now. Exhale and gradually open your eyes. I know you might have done this exercise many times, but I think it works all the time. Are you feeling marginally better? Whatever that is, like 1%, 2%, 5%. If you're feeling something positive, then you say yes. If you're feeling very positive, you say yes in all capital letters. And let's see what's the impact of breathing just for 1 minute. Yeah, great, 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 great. Wonderful, wonderful. So see, now just 1 minute breath can do a lot of wonderful things for us. And what it does is this, it changes our physiology, it changes our psychology. There are physiological benefits. Your heart starts beating in a better rhythm. It starts feeding your brain better signals. And you can see here, the top diagram is when heart and mind are total in disarray. This is what happens when you start thinking about frustration, just thinking of frustration. When you're expressing frustrating thought, this is how your heart and mind are, total chaos. And second graph shows when you are in gratitude mode, appreciation mode, when you're thanking people, when you're appreciating things. This is how brain and heart gets aligned. And when this happens, your brain is functioning with better efficiency. That means you're thinking better, you'll be responding better. And in the top one, you can imagine your brain is getting intermittent supply of blood and oxygen, and it's going to behave erratically because brain will think something wrong with my system. Thinking is not the most important thing right now. I have to go back to fight and flight behavior. So just 1 minute of breathing can bring such a beautiful transformation. And identifying how you can start enjoying moments in your life. By the way, that phenomena in psychology is called savoring. When you start amplifying the emotion, positive emotion of experiencing anything in your life. And it has such a phenomenal positive impact on our life, our physiology, as well as our psychology. I mean, this is how people claim that they have, taken care of their ailments, etc.
The first one, this is the last time out. He has played the entire game. He would have played the entire game in game 6 if it wasn't a blowout.
Everyone is taking a 1 minute breathing break and is one of the very popular NBA stars. So here we come to the end of this all. I invite you most to think happiness as the choice of mindsets, because in our culture, what we say is work hard, achieve success, and you'll be happy. And I am promoting a different lifestyle and a thought process that we are here on earth not to work hard, achieve success, and be happy. We are here to experience the joy in everything in our life. Our purpose of living should not be work hard, achieve success, and be happy. Our purpose of living should be enjoying every moment of life, enjoying every interaction, enjoying everything that we are doing, reading a book, experiencing something, enjoying everything. I believe that's our purpose of life, because when we do that, whatever we do becomes more amplified. We achieve peak performance zone when we are enjoying what we are doing, when we want to do whatever we are wanting to, not what we have to do. So instead of thinking work hard, achieve success, and we'll be happy, let's start living a joyful life in everything we do. Let's see how we can create slices of joy so we can live, not work hard, but smart, work smart. And then success becomes an outcome intended. It becomes a side effect, not intent of living life. I think most of us are living our life with the intent of success. Our outcome that we desire is success. But I'm saying intent of living life is happiness. And the outcome, the side effect is success. Many of us have traded or have been trading our life, health, mental and physical, and small joys with success. I'm not saying success is bad. What I'm saying is let's live a happy life, because that happiness leads to success a lot more than success leads to happiness. This is my best favorite quote. Nudge, I call them. These kind of punch lines that always inspire you. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. This one line keeps me young every day. Many times this thought comes, how much I have not done so far in my life. And this one line brings me to present and says, today is the first day of the rest of my life. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to all of you. Ran out of time now. And life is all about where you are to where you want to be. Because if there's no want to be, then life comes to a pause. Most of us are living, we are wanting to be somewhere else. So this is what life is. It is all about transformation from where we are to where we want to be. And if you want to run between the two, I can help you. I can nudge you for that. And my email address is arunb. You run between A and B @arunb.com, arunb.com. And that's my website. And my Instagram and everything else also you will find on the website. Please connect with me. And if you have any comments for the talk today, if you have suggestions, inputs, I'll be very happy to, listen to you, learn from you. And if there's a question, I'll be very happy to respond. That's
Thank you.
much from my side.
We read, sir,
Thank you,
about in
Doctor.
your biodata about laughter yoga. Is it same Madan Kataria's laughter yoga?
He is my mentor. He is a person that I've learned a lot from. So I have improvised it a little bit. I've made it corporatized, so it can be utilized with the young kids. Because what happens sometimes in laughter yoga, if you see what is happening in parks and all, it becomes that sudden, you start laughing. So many people are not able to make that shift. So I've created a flow where anybody can come along. By the way, I conduct this program very proudly, and I tell people, I will transform you within 60 minutes. And within 60 minutes, I'll give you an experience of mindfulness or thoughtlessness for at least 20 to 30 minutes, guaranteed. And within 60 minutes, you will feel at least 2-3 notches higher on your happiness scale, guaranteed. And this program has not failed me so far. So yes, I've learned from him. I'm very grateful to what he has taught me. He has given me gift of laughter, and I was able to bring it to the corporate world with some more neurosciences attached to it.
Thank you,
I'd
Doctor.
like to tell you, Doctor, that Madan Kataria used to hold a lot of workshops at the School of Ancient Wisdom. And quite often he would come and do a program for us at the end of the year, 31st first.
Okay.
So he's done a lot of programs at the school.
So that 2011 incident or meeting, Mamanese I talked about, it was during one
Yes.
of those programs only. So I have attended those programs many times, and I have conducted with him many times there actually. So yes, if you want year end, we will do a program once again, bringing that memory back.
Right.
That will be lovely. So thank you so much, Dr. Arun.
Thanks,
ji.
Mr. Janki Raman. Thank you very much for your kind words. Aarti, lovely to have you in this program. Oh, she's asking one question. How is important happiness related to health and wellness, as you know? Okay. First of all, it is a painkiller. I mean, whenever we laugh, whenever we are in a positive mode, see, doctors can give medicines, but it is the body that, or a human biology that absorbs it, or we can eat food, but digestion has to be done by the nature. And smile, laughter, being in positive mode definitely helps. And I know, especially for Auntie, it is her strength. So I know it can help. Just looking at. So there is a very interesting story actually how this whole laughter thing started, or positive psychology thing started. There's a gentleman by the name of Norman Covins, and he's written a book. And Aarti, I would like you to look at that book. It is called Anatomy of Illness. That's what it's called. So this gentleman was lying on the bed, and doctors told him his condition is because of negative thinking and because of all the stress he has taken in his life. And then he was lying there and then, waiting for his health to deteriorate further. And suddenly this thought came to him. If doctors are telling me that negative thoughts and depression or stress has caused my illness, if I choose to become happy and positive, would it eliminate my illness? And that gentleman started watching 20 minutes of, something that will make him laugh. And that 20 minutes of laughter, he says, I was able to get 2 hours, 3 hours of sleep because of that. And that's how the science of joyfulness, happiness for medical use came to life, and Patch Adams then made it even more popular. But yes, putting a person in that positive frame of mind with giving some exposure of something where the person enjoys or experiences joy. It can be people laughing, it can be people celebrating something that puts a person in positive frame of mind. It releases endorphins, which are called natural painkillers, and it does help person, and it also enhances impact of whatever therapy the person is taking. So yes, try it out. Thank you very much. And back to you, Ramesh. Thanks for this opportunity. And thanks to Mama Nize, who is with us, not in physical domain, but, in the consciousness domain. And whatever she has started, she told me that when she started School of Ancient Wisdom, it was a barren land with 4 trees. And then what an oasis she has created. May God bless her soul wherever she is with eternal peace and bliss. Namaskar. It was a pleasure interacting with all of you. Looking forward to meeting all of you in person. Drop me a note to say hi. Thank you very much. Wish you a very happy, joyful.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Arun. In fact, there are a couple more questions that I would probably run through. We do have a little bit more time left.
Just 1 second. I'll have to run to get my charger because I...
Okay, fine. Sure.
Swati, will you tell everyone about Mama Nize's birthday, Founders Day, and the program? Swati?
Sure, ma'am, sure.
Please tell them, and we would like all these people to come, including the speaker.
Okay. We are celebrating Founders Day on July 15th. So you are all invited, and the program starts in the morning and it gets wind up by around 1 o'clock. So you are all invited. Please come to the school on July 15th, morning 10 a.m. And very shortly, we will send you the invite as well.
Yes, the poster also, if you can put it up, Swati, please.
Yes, we'll do that.
Yes. So everyone, please come. The greatest tribute is to come there on Founders Day, which is a birthday.
Okay, Rameshji, I'm back, so you can share the question.
Okay. Right. So a couple of questions. One was, of course, Aarti mentioned here, which we probably have already done. She said, please share your inspirational message on happiness. And that is her request.
Inspirational message on happiness. I think I have been sharing the messages all along, the nudges that I call them. Like I said, the purpose of, I think we start confusing sometimes the means and the end. What is the means and what are the end? And we start seeing all this life struggle as the means to reach the end goal, which is happiness. And I believe that the means is the happiness. End goal is, a job. So job is actually it gives me a reason so I can get into motion, right? But whatever I'm doing in the process, I should enjoy the process of it, the journey. As we say, enjoy the journey, not the destination. And as I mentioned to you, life also evolves. We start, and I can see many of you are in that, experiential stage of life. When we start with life of pleasure, then we go to life of success, then we go to life of happiness or pursuit of happiness. Then we realize, why am I even struggling to pursue happiness? And then suddenly someday you start thinking, oh, it has to be happiness and pursuit. So I'm enjoying, since I came out of my corporate role, because in corporate role, it was 80% of what I have to do and 20% what I want to do. Now it has become almost reverse. 80% is what I want to do, or maybe 90%, and 10% is what I have to do, because I don't like to do taxes or, responding to those GST guys sending email and all that. But that's part of this whole new environment that I'm living. But at least 80-90% I have control on my life. And I think that's what happiness to me means. And I would also want to share one, if you want to hear the message in terms of inspirational message. I think happiness by itself, I see that as a compass. It's a directional compass within. And it is that directional compass that tells you, are you living life virtuously or not? Because as human being, I think the greatest freedom, which also causes greatest stress to us, is that in life we have ends and we have means to achieve those ends. All living beings have to achieve some ends. Only human beings can alternatively select the means to achieve ends. Dog, you provide food, runs and eats as long as dog is hungry, and then does not want to eat anymore, right? But human beings, we have an option of choosing our end goals as well as means to achieve those end goals. So as long as we are achieving right end goals and right means to achieve those end goals, something inside here tells me that I'm on track. And the time I'm not on track, something causes that disturbance to my inner peace. And that time I know that, somehow life is not going well. There is some opportunity for me to live a better life. So I think happiness, I perceive that as a compass more than anything else, which helps me live a life of virtues. And if I'm living a life of virtues, then whether it is my body, mind, or spirit, I think they all will be in harmony. So let's start looking at happiness as a inner compass more than an external phenomenon.
In fact, I wanted to pass a thought past you that I used to wonder, what exactly is this happiness? And I noticed that most of us become happy when our senses are, when there is external stimuli. You meet a nice person, you eat nice food, or you listen to pleasant music, and so on, the five senses. But later on, I came to this thought that I think it's much better if we pursue the development of happiness that comes from within, because then we don't have to be subservient to any outside effort or energy. If that comes along, it's a wonderful bonus. If it doesn't come, then one looks at how to kind of practice generating that happiness from within. What would your thought be on that?
No, very good thought. See, even in the first thing that you mentioned, right? Even if it is a pleasure, sensory pleasure, the feeling or experience of happiness is still generated within only, right? It is just that I start to look at these external stimuli because they are giving me that inner feeling, right? So still it is inner happiness only, but the cause is external. And we go into that, what do you call, addiction, because it is easier, because I don't have to put effort, right? It is physical thing. I tasted something and I get that pleasure. But that's why it is pleasure, not happiness, right? Anything that is coming from sensory stimulation is pleasure, not real joy, because that is not a feeling of human flourishing, right? And I know all of you know this, but just to put it in our conscious mind from subconscious mind. So what would be easiest way of getting human flourishing, right? And I always say, people many times jokingly in programs ask me, now that you have done PhD on happiness, are you happy now? And I tell them, I'm happier, because there's nothing called happy. There's always an opportunity to be, in the next stage probably, but I'm happier. Like I said, that whole funda of duration, frequency, intensity, etc. Then the second question comes is, can you give us that quick tip of how to be happy? So if people don't even want to do that breathing and experiencing and savoring and all that stuff, I tell them, I think easiest in every philosophy, every religion, the easiest way, easiest recipe, prescription to experience happiness is doing something for someone without expecting anything back, right? And if you want to really get that long-term true happiness, then do something for someone who for sure cannot do anything back. Because our brain gets into business with anybody. I do something for someone, I expect something back. If nothing else, then thank you or a prayer for me. And when you do something for someone not expecting it's very different joy altogether. So there it is not on the external stimuli. That inner compass itself gives you that feeling of flourishing. And that's why I fell in love with this word flourishing, because it kind of an endured or enduring feeling of flourishing that separates the pleasure part out of what actually makes us happy. And because of that happiness that we are talking about, actually, it is not just a feeling. Oh, what do you mean by feeling? Feeling means actually our chemical composition changes, right? It is not that just you are seeing smile on the face. If you see my bloodstream will have some hormones, and those hormones are going to stay there for a long term. As long as they stay, they are creating positive environment within my body, right? So Ramesh, I kind of differ with the spiritual thoughts sometimes, because spiritual thoughts are good. I have a lot of respect. But now with the neuro sciences coming in, and we understanding the biochemical reactions of all this positivity, even if you want to be a better spiritual being, if your biochemistry is biochemistry of happiness, that means you have those positive chemicals flowing within you, you would be a better spiritual person, right? So even to experience that spiritual happiness, you have to have those happiness chemicals within you. If you have cortisol flowing in your body, you cannot achieve focus actually. I mean, you cannot achieve that enduring feeling that you want to get. So I feel maybe I don't have any scientific evidence right now, but I think time has come to look at things a little differently, because the biochemistry of happiness creates that sense of flourishing, which makes you more focused. It makes you, more exploratory. It also enhances your intuitiveness. So how can we say that not being happy, I still can be happy, or I can be spiritual? So I don't know. We should do more research on this.
It's a play on words, I suppose, because sometimes they say when you meet the opposite, you truly appreciate. Like, for example, when you meet an unloving person, you
Yes.
truly appreciate what love is. So when
Yes.
people go through that tunnel of sorrow, the idea is you have to come out of it. And then it heightens your experience of joy and happiness and so on. But I completely agree with you. In fact,
Sorry, I want to tell you something very interesting on this. See, what is the difference between psychology and positive psychology, right? Or science of happiness. Psychology was all about believing that world has failures and depression and all that, and getting people out of that is psychology, right? So this is that philosophy where you are saying, hey, unless you feel unhappy, you would not know what happiness is. But positive psychology says that instead of thinking below the ground to feel that you are above ground, you always can take zero as a reference and become better on the positive scale also, right? You don't have to be sad to experience happiness. You can be happy and then you can be happier. Why not? That
why
also
not
gives a
indeed?
confidence.
Yes, very much. In fact, now that we've come to the end of our questions, and we're coming close to the end of our satsang as well. We've just got a 5 minutes left. I want to say really thank you so much. In fact, as you were sharing today, you had a smile on my face that didn't disappear. It was so nice because many of the things that you said really comes from a lot of deep introspection, and it comes from a person who has the child alive within, with multiple years of multiple lives of experience, I should say, packaged in these simple words, and you put it through so succinctly. I think there's a huge takeaway from it all. I've even jotted down some of your notes that when you used words like micro enlightenment, that was really nice, because the thing like on negative states like anger, just a little bit of enlightenment here and there in small areas can go a long way. It adds up. And when it spoke about the frequency, the intensity, and duration, and so on, it's such a practical aspect. I've experienced it. I mean, when you spoke those words, I've truly experienced it myself, and it's very good to hear it again and again. Just hearing these and practicing this breathing technique that you mentioned, but with this kind of easy perspective, and even giving a scientific backup by showing the brain and heart, consonance. was lovely. And when you say enjoying every moment of life is the purpose of life, yes, I was told always that, the purpose of life is self-realization and not sense gratification. But that does not mean that we cannot enjoy every moment in our life. And today really can be the first day of the rest of my life. So these are all very inspiring words. And to sum up, when you said, when people ask you about the easy way to be happy, you say, I'm happier. There's always an opportunity to be more. So it's not like, you're exaggerating or you're going over the top, but in a very actually it is an equipoise in a certain way, because you are in that equipoised equilibrium state. And apart from the breathing technique, you also mentioned the easiest way to get happy. And this is something that I would always tell others. The easiest way to be happy is to make somebody else happy. So when you said do something for somebody without an expectation, then you add an extra layer to it. So, we'd love to have a workshop with you at the school. And in fact, I wanted to also say that when you skimmed through the PPT on the slides, which you didn't really cover, we would love to, have another session with you where you cover those slides in more detail. So, Dr. Arunji, it was really truly a pleasure. And I think I can speak for everybody. You've exceeded the expectations that we had, from the title. Because when people talk about happiness in satsangs, sometimes it can be a little jaded, but you truly kind of gave us an eye-opening paradigm shift in a very simple way. So thank you so much for that. God bless you.
Thank you very much. This is one of the best summarization of my session anybody ever has done. So thank you very much for bringing it all together so well.
Thank you. Thank you, Arunji. On that note of gratitude, let us all sit straight. We have come to the end of our session. So what we do at the School of Ancient Wisdom normally, and also I must say this really makes a difference in many people's lives, is to collectively pray. So earlier we would mention names, probably we can do that going forward sometime. But please think of your loved ones, your friends, or those in your communities who need any kind of help. You'd be surprised to know the power of prayer. I have experienced it even for something as significant as my father's health, my father's heart attack. When I requested the satsang to pray for him, the very next day I experienced a breakthrough and a transformation, to give you an example. So think of your loved ones, think of those around you, even like how Janaki Rama ji was talking about Ukraine and so on. You can think of places in the world where people are troubled. We are all interconnected. So it is not like somebody else's problem is not mine. At a very basic level, it does affect us. So if we do this Loka Samasta in that spirit, really, it is like making another person happy. And that's such an easy shortcut to being happy. So let us all sit straight with our back, neck, and head aligned. Please think of those who need our prayers, who have illnesses, who have difficulties in life, who you want to pray for. Remember their name, remember their illness or situation that you want them to overcome and you want them to be blessed by. Now take a deep breath. And let go. Sit straight with your back, neck, and head aligned. Observe the silence within, the language of the soul, the eternally joyful soul. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Brahmarpanamastu. Thank you, everyone. As usual, every Thursday we follow this rhythm of the spiral of wisdom. So please do bring your friends and family along. It happens from 6:30 to 8 every Thursday. So till next Thursday, take care and God bless. Hari Om.
Hariam. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ramesh.